Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. Thank you all for watching my first video and giving me all your love and wishes. It really means a lot to me. So as I promised for the second part, I would want to talk about the whole journey and how it all started. So yeah. So I was first diagnosed with alopecia when I was 11 years old. So I remember it was a pretty big shock to me because I had never heard of a disease like this before. And I never even thought it could happen to someone. I first discovered it when I went for my aunt's wedding, and it was kind of a big shock to me. So my cousins and me, we were just playing around, and all of a sudden my cousin tried to grab my hair, and he figured out that I had a bald spot right here. And he asked me if I knew that I had bald spots, and I looked at him with the craziest look, saying that no, I did not know that. And I went to the doctor, and that is when I got fully diagnosed. So to first treat the spots on my head, I was given a kind of spoon, which is pretty much a medical romaine, and the doctor asked me to use it for 2 to 3 days and then return back with some results. So I started using that and it started working, and the spots went away. And then when I was in seventh grade, they started coming back. I first noticed when I was in the shower, I would wash my hair and go through it, and a lot would start coming out. And I remember telling my mom that I think my hair is falling out, and she told me that I was crazy because that's a normal thing. Hair comes out in the shower. And I was like, no, I'm pretty sure something's going on in here. And as always, I was right. No, I'm just kidding. And as the spots came back, I went back to the dermatologist, and they told me and my parents that the reoccurrence of the spots were due to an overwhelming amount of stress. And it's actually pretty interesting. I did not really take stress at that time. Like, I was still 11 years old, and I don't think an 11-year-old kid would be taking that much amount of stress. And for some reason, it is very surprising that the scientists don't really understand why alopecia happens. A lot of people have inferences that they can make, but a lot of it leads to the idea of a buildup of stress causing the hair loss, or a lot of other things, but there is no definite thing that causes alopecia. So it's really hard to kind of tackle. So because it's such an ambiguous disease, it's really hard to kind of reverse the effects in a sense. So there's no real cure. You never know what's gonna work and what's not gonna work. When I was first diagnosed, they gave me that foam and it went away fine. But after that, they tried to give me the foam again once the spots reoccurred, and it did not work out. Like, nothing. The spots started getting bigger, and I didn't really know what to do. So I went to the doctor to try to look for some new things that could help me, anything. So I went to a doctor, and I ended up having to get steroid medicines. So the doctor recommended a few steroid medicines, and like, I was very keen to get my hair back, so without a single doubt I started taking those steroid medicines. And I think in a week's time I started gaining weight. Like, I was getting chubbier and chubbier every dose. I like After every dose I finished, and I still remember that made my squash very difficult for me. Like, I still remember I could not run properly inside the court. My breathing was very bad at that time. I could not breathe properly, and I still do have some breathing problems. So due to the steroid medicines, that all happened, and still there was no good hair growth. So I went again to the doctor, and that doctor recommended me steroid injections. For those who have alopecia, they know like it kneels, and I'm sorry because there's a lot. What they do is they fill a couple of needles with this medicine, and wherever the affected area is, don't look right now, but wherever the affected area is, say you have small spots right here, so they do just multiple shots within that area, and you keep going back in 6 weeks, and hopefully the hair growth will start. So I went to the doctor for a couple of months, and they did really help. Like, I almost had all of my hair back. It was amazing. I didn't even think that was possible. I was doing pretty well, and unfortunately, something happened. I don't really know what, but I started losing my hair again. And due to my overeating habits, being very, very neglecting, like towards the disease and towards the situation, I started eating more junk and not taking care of my hair, not really eating my medicines after that. So I kind of stopped getting the injections and the medications, so it reoccurred, and it was like very stressful. And due to the stress, it it just took over my body. I was sick for a very long time, and my hair started falling out so quickly I could not keep up. It's went it started going to in the most important parts, chunking off on the front here, kind of in the sides, on the back, just wherever it could. So for a while I tried to pin up my hair, keep half of it up to cover the top spots, but eventually that stopped working because the spots were getting too big and you could not cover up. After I could no longer cover up the spots, I started switching to different ways in which I could cover up the spots, and I started wearing caps. And they hurt, you could see the spots, you could figure out that the spots were there. So, you know, that was a very bad experience for me. The caps weren't that helpful because, firstly, they could not cover up the whole thing, and I started getting patches all over the scalp. So it was getting very difficult day by day to face every single person around me. And then I it was just very stressful, and then they kind of just, and so on, the caps, but after a while, those options weren't really best for me, because all of them resulted in more hair loss, because you know just because of the caps, the tacky caps, the constant pulling and taking it out rips out hair. So I knew that the best thing for me to do would be to start looking for other options. And that would be when I started wearing wigs. I first got my wig. I got my first wig when I was in, I think, 8th grade. So I went with my mom to a store, like a normal store. They kind of helped me, they guided me, they helped me to pick out a different color to look the most natural. And it was it was very emotional experience for me, because I had never thought that I would be wearing someone else's hair or synthetic wig on my head. But it made it a lot easier because I could stop worrying about if something's showing, or maybe my hair is on the right way exposed. It was a security thing for me as well. It was nice. I put on the wig, I started wearing it, I started feeling like myself again, because it's really hard when you're a teenage girl who has chunks of hair missing, because it's in high school, it's all about who you are, who you hang out with, what you're wearing, who you're dating. Unfortunately, I wish it wasn't like that, but it is. It's hard trying to fit into a world when you feel like an odd man out. I felt like I constantly had a secret to keep, and it killed me. I hated it. Just being so insecure all the time. I hid my alopecia from the world for kind of a long time, for almost 2 years actually. And then, because I am a very impulsive person, I randomly woke up one day and just decided to tell my mom that I just want to get rid of everything, all my hair. And I still remember that decision would have kind of changed everything for me. Like, shaving my head off was a very big decision for me. And, like, an 11-year-old taking that kind of a decision, even my mom was shocked. So, she tried to make me understand, she tried to calm my little head down, she tried to tell me what the consequences would be. Like, what if I could not get all my hair back? What if we lose a little bit of hair that we had on the scalp? So I kind of understood that, and I did not do it. I went on wearing wigs, and that time I decided that I'll stop wearing wigs, and it's over. Like, that phase is over, and I want to show who I am. So that was the new beginning, new start of when I started going out bald. So yeah, I thought that was a good thing. On, like, I think on my first day of school after 4 months, I thought that I would go to school without a wig, just like a normal hat, and I would reveal my real self to everyone. Like, not even my eyebrows made, nothing, going blank, going bald. So I thought that would make a very big difference. I went to the school without any hair, and like, I decided to take up the consequences and try to face everything I could. So that kind of changed the whole thing for me. I became more stronger, more patient, and more understanding towards my own situation. And it was kind of helpful for me to first, be happy and be more safe. I started feeling safe around my own skin. Like, I don't know, it was beautiful for me. So yeah, thank you all for watching this video, and now I will be posting videos on every Wednesday related to the stories, and do let me know how you feel about this video. Thank you guys.